everybody. I recently did a video about Sears and I got a lot of nice comments on it, so if you haven't checked it out, please check it out. But in that video I talked about how some of the quality has changed with certain things, and one of the things I pointed out was a breaker bar. And I actually had a newer model breaker bar that was USA made, and I compared it to an older USA made breaker bar, and I compared it and showed how it was peened over in the old one and it was just better made. So I actually then was disappointed so much with the newer quality ones, I sold the set of them I recently picked up on eBay. And I actually got 75 bucks plus shipping for it, so I was happy with that. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna replace that breaker bar. I have plenty of breaker bars, but I'm gonna replace it with this old vintage Snap-on one. So it does have the date code on it, and maybe at the end I'll share what year it is. But for now, if you guys want to take a guess, take a guess maybe in the comment section, and what year do you think this breaker bar is from? Let's see if I can show you. Oh my goodness, well, you might have been able to see it because I had it rolled the wrong way. But let's see what this says here. The model number is NS18 for 18 inches. So I ended up picking this up a while ago, and I used it a couple times actually for a few things. It works well, but it looks like heck. And I paid about $1 for it, maybe $2. So I got a hell of a deal on it, and hopefully I can make it look nice. And then today I picked up this old Snap-on clock, and I paid $5 for it. It's got some scratches on it, as you can see, but from a distance you don't really see them. But it's got a lot of paint on it and little speckles of paint, but it is pretty cool. It's vintage 80s, huh? Does that look like something straight out of the 80s or what? Nice wood back, has a fresh battery in it to show it worked. It looks like they dropped some silicone. It's almost like a silicone bead around it so it doesn't slide when it's on the wall. I'm gonna clean this up too. I don't know if I'll get to it in this video, but I am definitely gonna clean that up. I got a spot for it on my wall. Is that neat or what? Today in my video, I'm also gonna be replacing the buffer wheel that's in my Craftsman 6-inch buffer. I picked up a wire wheel, I should call it, not a buffer. I picked up this DeWalt, and I picked up this cheap one from Harbor Freight, the brass coated one that was like under $3 with the discount. And I want to say that DeWalt, and I'll check it, was about $12 on Amazon, but got really good reviews. So we'll see how that goes as well, and I'll keep you updated through the video. It's a beautiful day out here in New York today. Won't be too many like this in the near future, so I figured why not light up a stogie. And I picked up this cool JR ashtray for $1 at a yard sale or estate sale last week. My favorite one though is this one I got from JR a long time ago. It's called the Bobkin, and it's kind of could just go in a cup holder, but enjoying a nice Romeo and Julieta. Alright, so my project might go a little slower today as I'm puffing on my cigar. But this is what I'm going to be working on the wire wheel first. This is the original wheel that came with this Craftsman variable speed 6-inch grinder. And if you haven't seen the video on this, it's like one of the first ones I ever did, and I uploaded it on YouTube, and it's not really well done, but it's pretty cool. It takes you through this whole kind of steel contraption, and this vise and this sander that was all put on here by an old gentleman who was retiring, and he was grateful and sold it to me. I was grateful, and he sold it to me for 75 bucks. So I'm going to start out with this original wheel, and then I will proceed to upgrade to the Here I am at what Scout Crafter would call the post wire wheel evaluation, and years ago this is probably how I would have left it, but ever since watching Scout Crafter and a couple of others, I learned that you could take it to a whole nother level with using the belt sander, so I'll try to do that next and not screw it up. As far as the wheels go, I started out with my original Craftsman wheel, and you can see I had good control of it. I was used to using it, and then I switched over to the DeWalt, and it was much firmer, much stiffer. It knocked the rust off it much quicker. So they both had their place, I guess. And then I used the brass one that I got. It's coated. It's not really brass, from Harbor Freight, which was super cheap. And it served the purpose. I used it on the Harbor Freight buffing wheel, buffer, the 6-inch buffer, and it seemed to work pretty well. I used it to get into, is softer, so I could get into these nooks and crannies where I won't be able to use the belt sander. So I was able to get it in there, and then around this end, around the head there, and it worked really well. I'll show you a picture of it here in a second, how it did kind of show its wear, and it's not going to last that long, but for a few bucks, who cares? I did use the full face shield, being that these were both new wheels, and I didn't know if it was going to throw anything off, and neither one of them did, I'll say that. I usually just wear the glasses, and then I've been using the hearing protection, not so much with the wire wheels, but I'll be using it with the belt sanders. That thing screams. So as you can see, it's definitely worn. It's thin, it's worn, but it serves its purpose. It's nice and soft, and it'll get in the nooks and crannies, and for a few bucks, you could use it and throw it out when it's all worn out. I'm gonna be starting with a nice, fresh 400 grit, and then working my way up. I don't think I'll need to use anything less than that, but we'll see how it goes. So here I'm using the buffing wheel to compound it out. I used the black compound, which is for steel. I put it on, worked it for a while, moved it over to the clean wheel, and I did it about 2 or 3 times. I'm still learning how to use it, but I thought it came out pretty good. Alright, it's done. It is buffed. I hit it with a little bit of wax so it won't rust. What do you guys think? Pretty good? Snap-on NS18, looking good. Made in the USA, of course. Date code. So for those of you that were curious, I believe that's 1963, and it probably hasn't looked this nice since maybe 64. How about that? Came out real nice. Used a soft wheel to get all in those spots. Did some by hand around here, around the knurling, or around that little curve. The knurling was tough. I worked it a lot with a stiff wire wheel. Hit it with a really, like a 500 fine grit sandpaper, just lightly. Really happy with the way this turned out, and not sad for a minute that I sold that Sears breaker bar on eBay for 75 bucks. Paid $1 for this, and it looks awesome. All right, I took it outside real quick just to get some natural light on it. Sometimes in the back there, it's just not as clear as it could be outside, so that's what it looks like in the natural light. Tell me what you think. Is that nice or what? Okay guys, unfortunately I was unable to get to the clock today, but I plan on definitely starting off the next video with that cleaned up and hopefully looking a lot better. Take one last look at the breaker bar. Guys, I'm getting close to 50 subscribers, so please like and subscribe. Maybe I could hit 100. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your weekend.